What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here. And you know the drill if you've been on this channel before. So with 11 months to go until the 2024 NFL Draft, we're going right to it with the 2024 NFL Mock Draft, just one round here. I think the two biggest things are right now is to just get kind of a feel of what the crop of prospects looks like for next year. And I think even more importantly, the fact that things are going to change and change in a big way before now and next April. But without further ado, as is tradition on this channel, we're rolling here with a 2024 NFL mock draft. Off we go. All right, guys, here we go into this mock draft. So obviously the Arizona Cardinals, a pair of selections currently at the top. Again, if you're mad about the order, this is just what PFF gives you right now. I don't know if this is exactly what the Super Bowl odds are sitting at, but this is what we're working with here. No adjustments to the order. So the Arizona Cardinals have 1 and 2. And that number 2 pick coming, of course, from Houston in the Will Anderson trade. I know this might be still controversial, but I think most people are getting on this bandwagon and will be eventually. We're going Caleb Williams first overall for the Arizona Cardinals. And as much as, you know, Kyler Murray's a dynamic playmaker, this regime did not draft him. And it's very possible that this regime would like their own quarterback to build around, right? They've done some good things so far in this quote-unquote rebuild, right? They're taking on DeAndre Hopkins' contract for the entire year for this year, take the dead cap hit, and it frees you up in 2024. Caleb Williams is going to give you a lot of things as a quarterback. Now, he needs to work a little bit in structure, but the out-of-structure playmaking is elite. The arm talent's really good. And again, he can make just some absurd throws, whether it be on the move, whether it be, you know, with both feet in the air. We've seen that. Like, he's a scrambler with a great arm, and there just aren't many guys that are like him coming out as a prospect. So this regime takes Caleb Williams, and they're going to pair him with Marvin Harrison Jr. And Michael Wilson, a solid pick in the 3rd round, but he definitely has durability concerns. Will he quell that in the league? We'll see. But even if they extend Marquise Brown and then Michael Wilson's in the building as well, you've lost your DeAndre Hopkins, right? He's gone. This is the replacement right here. Marvin Harrison Jr. is extremely detailed with his routes, great hands, right, and has a plan of attack. Now, he might not be the biggest burner out there. Doesn't matter. He knows the ins and outs of the receiver position, and he's going to be a true X for the Arizona Cardinals. And you give Caleb Williams already an elite weapon as a rookie. That is as good a pairing as you can get to start things out, especially now you got Paris Johnson at tackle as well. Like, this is really starting to pull into form with the Cardinals here in this mock draft. So Buccaneers at pick 3, if they're picking here, I mean, we kind of think it doesn't really matter where they're picking. If they find a way to win games, I think they're going to try and move up for a quarterback anyway, like Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. Come on. We know it's going to be quarterback. Drake May, yeah, I mean, some people are saying he's ahead of Caleb Williams right now. Some people are saying he's right there with him. I think the arm talent's really good. I think he can make some otherworldly throws, whether it be, you know, just on simple stuff, even outside the numbers. Really good touch, you know, can make throws on the move, right? Escapability and the second play is obviously a big part of today's league. He plays with good presence in the pocket. I think there's maybe some footwork things that you may want to kind of iron out, but boy, he's a real darn good prospect at quarterback, and he will immediately help things out in Tampa Bay. So we're going to go Drake May there. Colts at 4, I think, is really interesting, and it starts to bring up a conversation, right? Obviously, a lot of analysts in their early mocks have already given the Colts a tackle. That is certainly possible. We don't know what Bernard Ryman has. We don't know Blake Freeland. Like, they're both picks that happened after the top, I believe, 70. Ryman might have been a little earlier, but they're mid-round picks, and we don't know if they're going to pan out. But let's lean on the side of caution and development there, and we're going to take Jared Verse, who honestly could have been threatening that edge 1 crown, would have been easily edge 2 in the 2023 NFL draft. Transferred, I believe, from Albany to Florida State, and then really just dominated and has, you know, the ability to win the outside track. Really powerful. Like, he really had it all. Surprised he came back, but he's in for another dominant season, and the Colts to pair him with Kwity Paye, absolutely coming off the edge. Washington Commanders at 5. Quarterback, going to be on the mind of many, unless Sam Howell does something crazy. We're going to go again on projection here. We're going to take Quinn Ewers just because I think the upside's there, right? When you look at the arm talent, the ability to just make, again, outside the numbers throws, deep throws, throw with touch, like he can take it off. He's got fastball, changeup, but to make a lot of throws look easy is a specialty of Ewers. He just needs to be way more consistent, right? And I think that comes from a mechanical kind of sense. He really kind of just relies a lot on the arm right now. And the season wasn't good in 2022. We're going to bet on the fact that he makes that improvement. This could look really dumb next April. We'll see. But we're going to go Quinn Ewers there. The talent is immense for Washington. Green Bay Packers on the clock. This is their own pick. We'll see if this is that high of a pick. If it is, quarterback definitely could be in the discussion. Again, we'll err on the side of Jordan Love has essentially a 2-year deal now. So we're going to look elsewhere. I think it makes sense. Bakhtiari and Yosh Nijman both could be off the books and not in uniform for the Packers in 2024. Zach Tom takes over right tackle, and you draft Olu Fashanu from Penn State at left tackle. Just, I believe, 20 years old right now. I think will just be 21 by draft day next year. Phenomenal pass protector already, really powerful, really advanced at such a young age. You don't see that happen very often. He would have been tackle one if he declared. Another guy who may be surprising, he went back to school. He said he wanted to go back to finish his degree and play longer at Penn State, so good for him. This would be a great land for the Packers. They didn't go offensive line at all in the 2020 NFL Draft. Surprising. They're right back on the train here with Olu Fashanu. Raiders at 7. A lot of people want them to take tackle. Hey, let's just listen to the Raiders. I'm not saying that's a correct thing to do, but they seem to think their offensive line is good. So we'll do the next best thing here. We're going to take Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, the corner. Ja'Cory Bennett could pan out. Still a day 3 pick at the position. Right, they added some things to the secondary, but they truly didn't add a lockdown corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry can be that. He's already a lock for a top name in the class. Really plays physical at the line of scrimmage, good tackler. Right, I think he's really rounding him into form as potentially the top corner in this class. We'll see how this year goes. But this is really a tailor-made fit and a pretty decent value here for the Raiders at 7. Titans at 8. Yeah, there's a lot here. I mean, we could give them another offensive lineman, and it wouldn't be like anything shocking. We're not going to do that. Let's do this. Okay, Will Levis, maybe he's the guy next year. You want to give him every chance possible to get this right. So Emeka Egbuka here, a second Ohio State receiver coming off the board before pick 10 is maybe a little bit crazy. We've seen the Ohio State receivers. Just draft one. That's like, I think, the biggest advice you could give to somebody drafting receiver. Ibuka's really smooth, really explosive, really a tremendous Z receiver that'll pair really nicely with Burks and Phillips. And now you've got a really nice receiving room, especially with Chigo Okonkwo as well. That is a really dangerous group. Rams at 9. They drafted Steve Avila. Good for them. That's huge. We're going to make sure tackle is set. And it could be quarterback next year. It's very possible. We'll see. I'm going to lean on the side of caution there that Stafford's got at least a year or 2 left in him, and that's why guys are coming back to play. So we're going to go Joe Alt, another guy who's, right on the cusp of being that, locked in top 10 talent at tackle. Another Notre Dame product. Should be a lot of fun to watch him this year and a lot of big games for them. Another guy who's going to be really sound. We know this, right? This is how Iowa and Wisconsin, Notre Dame's in that list as well as guys who really coach up, develop their offensive linemen. Alt can become the left tackle for the Rams. You've got Avila playing either of the guard spots. If he's playing left guard, that's a really strong left side for the tail end of Matt Stafford's career. Bears at 10 and 11, back-to-back here for Chicago. I think these 2 picks make a lot of sense here. Listen, the Bears have a little bit of a luxury here at 10 and 11. Maybe you'd say they don't. J.C. Latham could be in play for sure. We're not going to go that route. We're going to take Brock Bowers first. Special talent, special speed, special hands, great in contested spots, and offers a ton as a blocker for a guy who's definitely in the 230 to 235-pound range, but he's an explosive threat. Up the seam, can flex out. This is really the new damage doer, right? We're going to see more multiple tight end sets. Chicago can get into that. Even if they let go of Cole Kmet, you can still find a way to mix in multiple tight ends. You've got your receiver room pretty cleaned out. Like, let's fix the tight end room now and get Brock Bowers. Then we're going to go a little bit down the board here and select JT Tuimoloau. That might be, I actually think I said that wrong, but that's my bad. But the edge rusher from Ohio State who just made big plays in big moments, I think there's still a lot to clean up in terms of a pass rusher, but you can't deny the impact that he has on games already as a young player off the edge. The Bears didn't really draft anybody on the edge, right? They focused a lot on the 3 technique in this last draft. They need bodies in the edge room. So you couldn't really go wrong with any of these guys at the top for Chicago at 11. Patriots on the clock at 12. It's really tough because I feel like the Patriots are often the team that would go offensive line later. Now, obviously, the Cole Strange pick in 2022, they traded back first round. They took a guy. Let's take J.C. Latham here. Has played on the right side. He's going to probably move over to left. This is, I think, what a lot of people are excited about is a little bit more position flexibility, but the Patriots are going to like him at tackle. They need to protect their quarterback. This could be a quarterback next year, potentially. Mac Jones not really panning out, but I think they're going to see if, a stronger offensive line, a little bit more in the receiving room. We'll see if that adds, and most importantly, better coaching. But J.C. Latham, the pick for the Patriots, build up that offensive line as they often do really well. Falcons at 13, maybe a little surprising that they didn't go pass rusher in this last draft. I know they're leaning on Arnold Ebiketie to make a second-year leap. I hope he does. He's a really talented player. We're going to add to that room. We're going to take Laiatu Latu from UCLA. Really explosive edge, powerful player, pretty disruptive. Like he has, I think, a little bit more size than Ebiketie. I could be wrong on that, but that's a little bit more of a foil. I think the Falcons have clearly committed to defense. Let's do it a little bit more here and get a pass rusher opposite Ebiketie in Latu, who should be well on people's boards by now if they didn't recognize him towards the tail end of that college football season. New York Giants at 14. We're going to go pretty simple here. They need help at linebacker. It could be really tempting to give them another receiver. We're not going to do that. Edge rushers are plentiful here, but they've really got a lot on that defensive line. We're going to go the Clemson linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I think is going to get a lot more hype than Trenton Simpson, and I think deservedly so. I think you're going to see a pretty strong year from him in both facets of the game, and I think he could be really the captain of that defense. That's something they kind of are missing at this point in time. So I really like that fit there with them, and I feel like that defense with Trotter helming the middle would be very dangerous. I mean, especially with Martindale coaching. So Denver Broncos at 15. This is a tough team to draft for this early. I mean, most teams are, but there are teams that have certain holes. They're a tough team to draft for right now. I just went with what I think is best player available. I think you could go Kalen King here from Penn State. I decided against it, and I'm going Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton from Illinois. Supremely talented. A ton of pressures last year as an interior defensive lineman. Plays with a ton of power and pop in his hands. I'm excited to watch another year of him. I think he could really, really burst onto the scene. So get another disruptor there on the interior. You lost Draymond Jones. I know you've brought in some guys to help that out, but I'm not sure many are on the level of Newton right now, especially prospect-wise. Like he could change a little bit of that defense for sure. Seattle at 16. Weird to not see them have 2 picks, but this is where we're at now. We're finally sort of nearing the end of the Russell Wilson trade. We're going to go Michael Hall Jr. from Ohio State. I think, not a lot of talk about the interior guys at Ohio State right now. A lot of talk about Sawyer getting a starting role this year, and obviously Tuimoloau, I think. Tuimoloau. Gosh dang it, I really should stop doing that. But a lot of the hype for the edge rushers. Hall's a really powerful disruptor as well. Along the defensive line, I know Seattle's committed a lot of resources there. Honestly, another team that it was just tough to draft for. Who's on the board? Corners, edge rushers. You could go way down the list. It's okay, but safety. No, I mean, they could take a running back early. No, that wouldn't shock anybody. Cooper Beebe, maybe, as just a guard at 16, but that seems weird. Let's just add a little bit more of that defensive line and see if we can really beef up that defense as a whole. Pittsburgh Steelers at 17. Another team that's tough. A lot of people are giving them corner. I don't know. Trice and Porter sound really good long-term as long as Trice is healthy. So we're going to go elsewhere. We're going to go Mason Smith, a little bit of a hybrid player on the interior. The vibes might be, young Cam Ward-Hayward-esque, and that's really good. Mason Smith, I think he can be, as long as the Highsmith deal gets done, a guy you can plug into that defense along with Keanu Benton. They're going to get a lot of pressures early with that front four. That would be a lot of fun to watch in Pittsburgh. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins deal. Not done. There's not a lot of quarterbacks on here. There's one or two guys. I'll say their names now, so I'll look smart. Maybe hopefully in 11 months when we watch this back. Riley Leonard from Duke, Michael Pratt from Tulane, two guys who I think could jump onto this board. We don't have them here, unfortunately. That's okay. We'll go with J.J. McCarthy, who I think has gotten a lot of negative buzz, and I think that's fair. But maybe we'll bet on potential here. We'll see what we got. He does a good job maneuvering around. He's obviously a good athlete, right? I think Penix and Nix could both be in play here. It's just maybe a matter of flavor of what you want at the position. Nix has taken big-time steps at Oregon. I think this could be Riley Leonard when all is said and done, honestly, for Minnesota. But we're going to go McCarthy there for Michigan. I'm sure that pick will not be met with any questions in the comments. Houston Texans. Man, going Dallas Turner with Will Anderson would make a lot of sense here. I'm going to make sure that the running mate for Derek Stingley Jr. is a really, really good one. Kalen King is super good. He's really good, and I think he's better than Porter. And again, jury's out on Stingley after year one. I still think there's a chance we get a big time bounce back. But I think when you look at what the Texans have done, they really tried to add the pass rusher for Ryans and then really build around Stroud a lot. So I think the right call here is to add to the defense a little bit, get that secondary right with Kalen King, who, again, should have a really big year for Penn State. Saints at 20. Boy, we're flying through this thing. Chop Robinson, another Penn State pick. Really talented edge rusher who I think can really flatten and really create a better angle for himself in the contact phase already, just as some early looks at him. I think he is the one who could really jump up potentially and be right there with Jared Verse. And, I mean, obviously he's ranked pretty highly on this board, so that wouldn't shock a lot of people. The Saints really don't have that guy right now. Cam Jordan nearing the end. Maybe they throw Peyton Turner out there. Like, it's going to be a weird mix of what they're going to do on the defensive line in New Orleans. Let's get a true edge rusher there in Robinson. Dolphins at 21. This is going to be the projection pick, but man, we got to get offensive line in here, folks. We're going to go Amarius Mims. Let's see if Mims can really jump on there again. Another tackle from Georgia who I imagine after both guys are gone, I think he got some reps at right tackle opposite Broderick Jones a little bit, but he's probably going to be taken over at left tackle, and I think there's a lot of potential to work with there. First year, he's draft eligible. Georgia's going to have the spotlight on them a ton again as back-to-back national champs, and Mims could be the tackle that jumps onto the first-round radar. Baltimore Ravens, we got to give them some value. Dallas Turner would be good value. I think they're still betting on Oweh and Ojabo a little bit, so we'll lean on that and go with Cooper DeJean from Iowa, who instincts and just finding the football for him, it's really impressive, and it would be a very DaCosta pick here at 22 for the Ravens. I really like that a lot, and they need some more bodies in the corner room. Chargers at 23. Again, Dallas Turner. Would it make sense? I still think Dallas Turner has some things to iron out when he doesn't just win the edge. So we got to talk about that a little bit during the season. So I'm going to go down the list one more time. Again, Khalil Mack, a giant number cap-wise coming in 2024. I don't know if they cut bait or not. Let's say they do. And maybe, Tuli Tuipulotu is just more of a guy you move around, right? And maybe Joey Bosa's hurt. Like this, there's a lot of things that are the wheels get turning a little bit here in the edge room, and you might come up a little empty. I just don't like a lot of the corners right now. I think Burke's got a long way to go, so we're gonna go back to edge for them. Again, maybe safety would make sense here too, but let's prioritize a little bit of pass rusher. Braylon Trice is really, really good. I think he's got another one like Chop Robinson who could really jump up by next year. Washington's got a couple guys off the edge. Trice a little bit bigger and stronger. and really has developed his game nicely. He's going to go to the Chargers there again. Obviously, Tui Pelotu notwithstanding, it'll be interesting to see how much changes in that edge room in 2024. Cowboys at 24. We're going to do it. Got to get my guy in here into the first round. Cedric Van Pran at center. I just think he plays the position at such a high level in terms of intelligence, in terms of, quicks in the short area. He's big and powerful to handle pass rushers in the phone booth. Can combo and climb pretty well. I think you can ask him to pull. Again, not an otherworldly athlete of the Kelsey Linderbaum caliber, but I think he's really strong enough to get it job done in terms of second level blocking, pulling, whatever you want to ask him to do in space. I think he's going to be able to do it. And again, another year of seasoning at Georgia's nothing wrong with that. I put him in my mock last May, so it's cool to see him here again. But I'm really excited about him and talking about him a lot more this coming process. Packers up at 25 from the Jets. It just seems like barring an Aaron Rodgers injury, which could happen, we never know. I'm not handed the NFL script, right? But like 65% of the snaps should be doable. It should be enough. The Jets are in playoff contention. He's going to do that. So we'll give the Packers this pick. PFF has anyway. We'll go Cameron Kinchens here from Miami. Miami's got a fun safety duo with him and I believe it's James Williams. Yes. So those two going to be a lot of fun. Kinchens is more of the free safety, right? Find the ball, play it, good instincts and coverage. He's missed a lot of tackles, though. We need to work on that for sure. But I think Kinchens is exactly kind of what this room needs at safety right now. And again, they took Anthony Johnson Jr., who is a converted corner, to add to the safety room. Again, Owens, Ford, a lot of these guys are back on one-year deals, so nothing really set in stone there. So Kinchens is the pick at 25. Lions at 26. Got to get my guy into this round. Okay. Rome Odunze, Washington, smooth separator, great hands, right? He's really somebody who I think can play the Z position, or if you want to call him an X and kind of let him be the chain moving type, the separating type in your offense from the Z, where you have, or from the X when you have Williams as your deep threat and you have Amon-Ra St. Brown manning the middle. I think that's a trio that you should get really excited about in Detroit. Again, it feels like they're in that Hendon Hooker now territory where he's going to take over for Goff. I don't know how I feel about that, but this is where we're rolling. Rome Odunze at 26. 27, Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to go Dallas Turner. Obviously, questions about K'Lavon Chaisson, right? Not much there. And then Josh Allen. Will the extension happen? So we're going to go Dallas Turner. This is long enough. He's still a good speed rusher at this point with great explosiveness. Buffalo Bills at 27. Man, Buffalo Bills at 28, sorry. We're going to go offensive line here, and we're going to get the right tackle. Spencer Brown just hasn't found it just yet. I'm going to go the other Notre Dame tackle, Blake Fisher here. Again, give Josh Allen more time is a big deal. I do think you could go defensive line, and that would help a ton. They've really only added Poona Ford, right? They're getting Von Miller back, but there's a lot of meh along that defensive line. I wouldn't be shocked if that is one of those is a selection down the line. Maybe Leonard Taylor from Miami. We'll see. Philadelphia Eagles at 29, another team. It's like, who cares? What do you draft here? How about just draft, a receiver? Why not? Why can't we draft a receiver? Let's draft Troy Franklin from Oregon. A little bit of a smaller guy, a little wiry in terms of his frame right now, but boy, he's got a lot of talent. You could throw him in the slot a little bit. You can interchange it with Devonta Smith. Right, the receiver room is pretty much Brown and Smith right now with not a lot of depth, and the Eagles have luxury to spare here to go receiver in the first round with Troy Franklin. San Francisco 49ers, I think their offensive line needs a little bit of a facelift. They're getting by, which is really cool. That's fun. Let's give them Connor Colby from Iowa, who's played tackle and guard. Gives you a little position flexibility. I think with another year at Iowa, he's going to take a big step. We're going to bet on that right here for the Niners. Let's protect whoever's playing quarterback. Could this be a quarterback? Maybe. Don't rule it out. That is for sure. We can't rule that out at this point. Bengals at 31. It is interesting that PFF has put the two AFC Championship participants at the end of this. Obviously, this can't happen, really, unless there's like a trade back of some sort, but we'll leave it for now. I think this, again, they took Myles Murphy, right? Is that a preparation for maybe departure of Hendrickson or Hubbard? Yeah, I think it is. DJ Reader, off the books, free agent in 2024. How about Dante Corleone from Cincinnati? Adding some juice to his pass rush repertoire, but already a really strong run defender. We know Cincinnati loves to have two guys who play the run really soundly and can take up maybe 2.5 to 3 gaps as a whole in their defense. Lou Anarumo loves those big guys in the middle. Corleone can pair well with BJ Hill. Rounded out, Kansas City Chiefs. There were a lot of directions I think we could go here. I absolutely dared myself to think about taking Blake Corum, which would have been pretty hilarious. But I think what kind of makes the most sense for them isn't receiver. It's defensive line. I think opposite Chris Jones. And yeah, we're gonna take Ruke Ohorhoro from Clemson. I'm sure I got that wrong, like I did with Ohio State's edge rusher there. But we're gonna do that. I think you find a pairing that you like in the middle with Chris Jones and you roll with it. It could be Leonard Taylor too. I think either of those makes sense. But let's bet on Ruke to take a jump for Clemson. So there it is, the mock draft for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Can't wait to react to this in 11 months. Give me your thoughts down below. Throw a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. Plenty of content coming this summer. And we draw ever closer to the college and NFL season that's coming this fall. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.